Hi, I'm SoCal Honey Badger, and that was my intro. Alright, so this is going to be Flawless Block tutorial for you guys. This is going to go up on YouTube. Before I get started, I do want to kind of talk about like my opinions on the mechanic. First of all, I hate mechanics like this. Like, absolutely. I do not like it. That being said, let me explain why I don't like mechanics like this. Because I feel like there's a lot of depth to this game, and a lot of it's gated off by Flawless Block. And it's the same with every other kind of game that has a mechanic like this. For example, like Third Strike. I absolutely hate these kind of mechanics, and the reason being is because they gate off like the high level play to only people that can do it. And the first excuse people always do or always give is, oh, you don't like it because you can't do it. And I'm like, well, no, bullshit. I don't like it, and I can do it, and I do it all the time. Those of you who watch the stream live, you guys see, like, I blow people up with Flawless Block. I can do it. I'm literally making a guide on Flawless Block right now. That being said, I still don't like it because if you can't Flawless Block, you're kind of locked out of this high-level mind game, right? You're locked out of it. And so the purpose of this guide is to kind of teach you guys how to utilize it and how to do it, and then maybe you can up your execution in a way to where you'll be able to reliably do it. But even still, online, like you guys see, when it's just a little bit of lag or you're fighting someone on Wi-Fi, good luck trying to Flawless Block anything. But if I give you guys the tools to practice this mechanic, hopefully you'll be able to do it and maybe actually participate in like higher level play. Because at high level play, pretty much everyone can do it. Whether or not they do or don't do it is irrelevant. You almost never see Sonic Fox Flawless Block, but I am absolutely certain he can. Whether or not he does or doesn't, I think is more of a strategic decision, as opposed to an executional decision. Whereas a lot of you guys, it's an executional decision. You don't do it because you can't. He doesn't do it because he just doesn't want to. So going into the basics of it, the first thing is to do a Flawless Block, you have to hit the block button within, I believe, 4 or 5 frames of the attack connecting. This is an unseeable time span, right? It's not like you can see when to hit the Flawless Block and then hit it. You can't see 5 frames. You kind of just have to have a feel for the rhythm. And there are ways to cheat that and practice the rhythm without just sitting there with your buddy and trading moves back and forth and trying to Flawless Block each other. Also, note that if you're going to Flawless Block something, you have to also release block. I believe it is 4 or 5 frames as well. So you can't just hold block and then like tap it, right? So like you would do something like this. You're holding block. I want to Flawless Block, tap it, right? That won't work. You have to actually let go of block for a certain period of time. And then when that time passes, if you press block at that certain time, you'll get the Flawless Block. That was to kind of remove the option select of just kind of like mashing it like this, which you see a lot of people do. And I think it's those people that don't know that you can't Flawless Block like that anymore. So like if there's a string that like Shang Tsung's string where he does the forward 2, forward 2, you block forward 2, 4, you have to let go of block for a certain period of time before you are able to Flawless Block again. Now, the way I practice Flawless Block is 2 ways, right? First of all, I'll just pull up a character, which you guys have seen me do, a character that has like a Flawless Block string, right? I believe Jackie's is back 3. What is that? Back 3, 2, 3. I believe that's a Flawless Blockable string. Let me see. What is it? Back 3, 2, 4. Okay. Oh, let me try it again. I think this one is Flawless Blockable, right? Right. So you block. No, I don't think it has a gap. No, I think it's gapless. Yeah, because I'm letting go of block, and in a flawless blockable string, when you let go of block, they actually drop the block animation. So if they don't drop the block animation, then you know that there's no flawless block gap. That's another good tip. If their character, if you're in the middle of the string and they don't drop it, right? You see how he kept the block animation. He's keeping, even though I'm letting go of block and the overhead is hitting me, he's still keeping the block animation. So that means there's no gap in that string. Like he's still locked into the block stun. And you can't flawless block if there's no gap if you're locked into block stun. The gap is when you can leave block stun. So that's another way of knowing if there's a flawless block gap is the animation of if they let their hands down for the block. But so one way I practice that is I just record them doing the string and then I practice the rhythm for the flawless block. I actually also try to practice it with my eyes closed, which I know you guys probably think is weird, but sound cues are very, very important in fighting games, and especially for dealing with rhythm. So I'll close my eyes and try to catch the rhythm of the flawless block when I'm trying to flawless block a string. Like, for example, Garrus's 4-2-1-2, right? Boom, 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 right? So 1-2, flawless block. And I'll practice it like that. So make sure you're practicing that way as well. It does actually help. I know it feels weird and it probably sounds and looks weird and it probably makes me sound like I'm like some kind of fucking like swami monk like flexing. I practice with my eyes closed. It's not really a flexing thing. It's more of a practice it with your eyes closed because it'll get you more in tune with the sound cues and the rhythm. Now, that being said, the other usage of flawless block, outside of when I try to style on fucking Kotal Kahn players and flawless block the forward 2 in the neutral, that's very, very hard to do. But the other thing is counter poking, right? So you'll sit here and you'll block something and they'll do a poke back, right? You'll do down one block and then they do down one back. And you end up just trading down ones back and forth, right? And that ends up being kind of boring, right? Like nobody wants to sit there and just low punch, low punch, low punch each other in the knees. And that's because you're not playing at the level where people can flawless block. But a lot of people will start flawless blocking after negative strings, right? So you do something, you are minus, but you are not minus enough to be punished. You are minus just enough to where you can't really attack anymore, and then you would want to sneak a flawless block in there. Now, the best way to do that is with Jackie, with grease kick, right? So I hit her, she does grease kick. The reason for that is grease kick has an 8-frame startup, okay? So you could sit there and record the computer doing down jabs and doing all of that, and that's kind of a headache, and that's a lot of work just to be able to practice something that you could sit here and you set her to reversal and you set her to reverse with grease kick. That means when she blocks your attack, her next attack will be an 8-frame attack. The reason why this is important is because remember, you have to flawless block within like 4 or 5 frames of the attack hitting you. Most jabs and pokes are between 6 and like 9 frames, right? Somewhere in there, like Kung Lao's down 1 is 7 frames, his down 3 is 7 frames. Some people have 9-frame fucking low pokes. Some people, like Garrus, have a 6-frame low poke. But if you think about it this way, between 6 and 9, that's about 3 frames, right? And Jackie's grease kick is 8 frames, so it's in the middle of there. And any number, 6, 7, 8, and 9, any number you hit there on the frame data, if you time your flawless block just generally, it will be within that 4 or 5 frame range, right? If you practiced your timing for a 6-frame jab and you're fighting someone with a 9-frame jab, you're still within 3 frames. So as long as you have the timing to hit the 6-frame flawless block, you will also hit the 9-frame flawless block. And this is why a lot of players practice on Jackie, because her grease kick being 8 frames means that you can practice your flawless block reversal on that, and it will work for the majority of pokes and buttons on the cast. So all you do is you set her to block, you set her to reverse, you go and you do a move. When she blocks it, she will grease kick. you time your flawless block there, right? So it would look, let me see if I not fuck it up. Right, and then so adding onto your muscle memory, you want to also add the up to and continue the combo, right? So you do that whole sequence, which I didn't actually fucked up my combo. There was a hit missing from that combo. But you want to practice that whole sequence, right? So you set Jackie to grease kick, tap her, she grease kicks, flawless block up to do the combo. So that way, when that situation occurs in a match, you have the muscle memory to do that whole thing. You will just do that whole sequence rotely, right? And you'll do it off of everything, right? So I did it off of a down poke. Hold on. See, the thing is with Kung Lao, his pokes sometimes push her back to where grease kick misses. See? Right? So there's that. You could also practice, like with certain characters that have flawless block punishable strings, like Liu Kang or Katana. You could just practice the string and the timing and then work on your punish there and not do an up to, just flawless block. Like Cassie has the up kicks where she comes down if she meter burns, and if you flawless block the meter burn, she's like minus a million or whatever, like 14. Or something like that, and then you can practice your punish with that. But this is for poke, counter poke, right? So you can sit there, and in this, right, you guys are up close, poke, you do the flawless block, right? Again, the pushback kind of fucks it up. The other thing is, remember, right, so you look at Kung Lao's, his poke is -4, right? So this is where the high level meta comes in. This is where, like, this is what pro players are doing. Oh, shit. There's a follow. Pro players are starting to recognize that flawless block up to is basically like an armored reversal as long as you have the timing to do it, right? Again, this is why I don't like these kind of mechanics, because if you don't have the timing to do it, you're just never going to be able to play the game at high level. But basically, when you do something that is negative, you can fish for a flawless block. You guys will see me do it off of this string a lot. Where is it? Back 3-2, right? So this string is -7, and I'll fish for the flawless block off of this string, right? And so you can practice that by setting Jackie to reversal with grease kick. You can sit there and do your string, and then when she's going to counter poke, you're going to hit the flawless block, right? So this one I actually have to whiff a couple of hits because there's like gaps where she can attack, but like nothing comes out, and you can't flawless block in there. So I whiff the first part of the string, make sure the last part hits, and then I fish for the flawless block, right? So this would be the setup here. Hold on, that was too far. That was too far again. Hey, it's tough practicing this one. I gotta get the first hit to whiff. That's the problem. I'm gonna do it in the corner. Fuck you. I'm gonna do it in the corner because of the pushback. Makes it kind of difficult. Come on. Oh, fuck me. Anyways, maybe Jackie just has a tiny hitbox. You know what? I'm going to set her to reverse with dash punch. Where is it? Bionic dash. That'll work. You see how that works, right? You see how that works? So I do a string. I know they're going to block it, right? And as part of my pressure, I will do the string. They're going to block it. I know they want to poke, right? I know they want to poke back, and I use dash punch because it's advancing, so it'll reach. Trust me, like grease kick wasn't reaching, but like when they do down pokes, like down threes, the down three will reach, and I'll get the flawless block, right? So you'll sit there, she's gonna block. Hold on, let me not fuck it up. Let me not fuck it up. And you can go for your combo. So any string that you do that is not punishable, you can practice the timing for flawless blocking afterwards. You don't necessarily have to give up your turn, right? So like today, before the guide, I was practicing it off forward 1-2, right? That's a common one, right? Well, that might actually punish that. Okay. Hold on. That one I probably want to practice with grease kick. Alright, so you do that. Hold on. Doing it too late. That was too early. That was too late. That was also too late. That was too late. Come on, can I get it? There it is. Was the flawless block. And the up 2 didn't come out. Come on. Listen. Okay? I've been drinking and it's cold. This doesn't happen all that often, babe. Trust me. Like, I'll get it right. All right? I'm just a little nervous. I don't like being put on the spot. Don't laugh at how big it is. Ah. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, I swear. Oh. Okay. There we go. Anyways. So any string you have, you'll want to practice that. Now, granted, you may have to do stuff because with this string, I have to whiff the first hit. But nobody's going to be pushing buttons after that, right? Like, if I do forward 1-2, like, generally they're going to block the whole thing. So you can practice your timing off of any string with any character that is minus on block, but not, like, punishable, right? So it's not like minus 10 or whatever. You can practice the flawless block to stop any instant retaliation. And players like Sonic Fox have kind of described it as like an armored launcher, right? So when you do your string, they're going to attack back. You flawless block up 2. It's like an armored launcher. You're countering their buttons with an armored launcher, and that's kind of how you practice it. Most people at the high level of this game practice it with grease kick on Jackie because it's an instant move that is very, very like fast, so it's around the frame data of pokes. Now, the way to throw that off is to do like a slower move, right? So if I do a string and block it, right, instead of poking back, I'll do like something like that. Someone that's fishing for a flawless block is going to miss their flawless block. And then you're going to get your move out and they can't counter it. Also, you could just grab them, right? Flawless block doesn't beat grab. So that's where the mind game is. This is why I don't like these kind of mechanics, because at the level where everybody can flawless block and everybody's fishing for flawless blocks, you can do stuff like grab or do a slower move or like neutral jump or short hop, things like that to counter the flawless block. And it kind of creates that, you know, I'm going to counter your poke with a flawless block. I'm going to counter your flawless block with a slower move. I'm going to counter your slower move with a poke. I'm going to counter your poke with a flawless block, right? And it just kind of goes back and forth. Low-level players don't get to participate in that, right? Low-level players, that's like a game they've never played before. They have no idea what's going on there. And that's why a lot of people say that this game has no depth, because they look at the game at high level, right? So at low level, people are just mashing pokes and grabbing each other. And at high level, people are mashing pokes and grabbing each other. And it's because like the game looks the same, but it's not the same. Because at high level, I'm mashing pokes because I've been flawless blocking them, and now they're scared to push a button. And I'm grabbing them because I know they're looking for a flawless block. Whereas at low level, they don't know how to do anything. They're just mashing pokes and grabbing each other because that's all they can do. And that's why I don't like mechanics like this. Let me switch my leg. I don't like mechanics like this because it locks the game out to the majority of people. I'm fine with executional stuff, but I don't like when a core mechanic is locked behind execution. Like a core mechanic that makes the game fun at high level. Flawless block makes the game fun at high level. You see, whenever I play like high level players, right? Matches get intense, right? They get super intense because it's like, oh shit, right? When me and the other person are flawless blocking each other, now it becomes the mind game of, is he going to do something? Is he going to not? Is he going to try to grab? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? And most of you that can't flawless block are locked out of that. So I don't like it. That's my soapboxing. But at the end of the day, the mechanics in the game, You either learn how to do it or you just don't play the same game as everybody else and never really achieve that high level and understand the actual depth in this game. I know I was arguing in another streamer's Discord because like their community was saying this game has no depth, and I'm like, no. I was like, you know, I can prove to you the game has a lot of depth. Like, what do you do after you do a move that's -5? And they're like, well, you block. And I'm like, no, you don't. You jab. And they're like, what? And I was like, because at high level, they are going to be able to flawless block, and they're going to assume that you can flawless block. So when I am -5, they're not going to poke back because they know I'm fishing for a flawless block. So I'm going to jab and throw them off, right? Jab and keep my pressure going and press buttons even though I'm negative and disrespect frame data. And that's why that works at high level. And they're like, but that's just mashing. And I'm like, no, because once I start doing that, they're going to catch on. They're going to start poking back. That's when I flawless block. And they're like, oh, wow. And I'm like, yeah. And then it can go 50 different ways off of each option, right? Like, I do a move that's -5. There's like 10 different directions that our interaction between me and my opponent are going to go in. And if you don't understand flawless block as a mechanic and you can't do it, then you're never even playing that game. That's why the game doesn't seem deep to you, because you can't do this mechanic. But once you can do this mechanic, it opens up the depth. You're just like, holy shit. This game is like fucking, this is the Mariana Trench, because so many things can happen. And I have to counter so many different things, and I have to understand so many different things. But to the layman that does not play the game at high level, they're just they're just mashing and doing grabs. Now, if you think mashing and doing grabs is not interesting to watch, that's not really the point I'm trying to make. The point is that there is depth. It's hidden behind flawless block, and it's unfortunate that a lot of you guys can't. So I hope this guide, which I'm going to post on YouTube, I hope this guide helps you guys at least give you a way to practice it, because this is what high-level players use to practice flawless block. This is what all the pros do when they go into training mode. Everybody I've talked to, this is what they do. They throw on Jackie, reversal grease kick, practice flawless blocking that. So hopefully you guys can go and practice that yourselves and start incorporating flawless block into your game plan. And once you do incorporate flawless block into your game plan, you will start to open up a wealth of depth within the game, and you'll probably, you'll be fucking way more flashy, right? Because nothing fucking gets people to cream their pants more than when you land a fucking flawless block, especially when I do it in the neutral, right? When I'm doing this shit, and then I flawless block up 2 because they decided to stick out a button. That has more to do with my understanding of fundamentals. It's less with timing and reacting. How I do that is I know the range they want to do that move, so I just stand at that range and I tap block, right? So like when I do it against Kotal Khan and he does the forward 2-4, the little sword move, and I some of you guys who've been here a while have seen me flawless block that in the neutral, and you're like, how the fuck do you do that? And I'm like, well, because I know at this range that's his best option. I can't react to it, so all I'm going to do is move into that range. I know that's what he's waiting for. He's waiting for me to get into that range, and he's reacting to me, right? He is seeing me move into range. He's doing the move on reaction. So my muscle memory is walk forward, block. And if I walk forward and block and I hear the boom, then I just hit up 2, right? And that's how I can do that in the neutral. And you can do that with every other character. You can do that with Noob Saibot, right? When Noob Saibot does forward 2-2, you can sit there and say, all right, Noob Saibot wants to do forward 2-2 here. So when I'm here, I'm going to walk up to there, hit block, and then up 2. And if he does it, I get the flawless block. I launch his ass. I look swaggy as fuck. If he doesn't do it, then whatever, I'm just going to block anyways. Like, there's nothing wrong with blocking, right? So that's a way to kind of, once you get the muscle memory of flawless blocking with practicing on grease kick, you can start fishing to do that shit in the neutral, and it's really, really fun to do that. And it's a huge mind fuck. And if you're also a streamer, I know a lot of my viewers are streamers, nothing gets your audience more pumped than when they see you do shit like that. They fucking lose their shit. They're like, what the fuck? How did you flawless block Noob Saibot's 4-2-2? And it's like, yo, dog, I'm just good, man. I'm just good. I'm just really good at this game. I play a lot. I practice. I kind of got skills. It's all right. I'm going to learn you this. All right? Anyways, that's the end of this video, so go practice your flawless block and stop sucking at Mortal Kombat.
Hey, so, if you follow YouTube enough, you know that they like to put
weird stuff all over the screen for the last 30 seconds. So this is going to fill that space. Yeah. Yeah. It's probably right there and there. All over the place right now. Yeah, go ahead and click that stuff if you want. And that's 30 seconds.